Good morning, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Doug White down here in Alabama. How's everybody doing this morning? Anyway, this little video I made at the end of the day yesterday. I'm going to try to do it over again because I kept calling John the Revelator. I kept calling the Apostle John Paul. But anyway, I want to redo this one because kept calling it, using the wrong name on that video. So I'll kind of redo that. I was tired anyway. And it was kind of getting warm out there in that car. But anyway, I want to talk about the verse I was talking about, the great multitude yesterday of people that we had God pour in mercy, and a lot of times we think of God as pouring mercy, and when we look around us, we tend to see a snake under every rock. But right in my old age, I look for God's people, everywhere I go. I look for attributes of God in people. But anyway, this great multitude that John saw on the Isle of Patmos when it was revealed to him. Let me just read that verse again and expound on it. See, the thing here is that Jesus Christ has all power right now. All power in heaven and earth is given to him. Whether people believe it or not, all power is right now in his possession, God's possession. And he has a kingdom, a heavenly kingdom, right now, brothers and sisters, right now. Not going to be, but right now. And that kingdom has no end. It goes on forever and ever, brothers and sisters. And see, that's the way I believe down here in Alabama anyway. in Doug White's view. He's ruling and reigning from heaven. And he has a people in that kingdom that there was no condition whatsoever placed upon any of his people that he loved from the foundation of the world, in my view, down here in Alabama. But anyway, John was taken up, or he saw this, however how you want to put it. John saw it, and here's how it's recorded in the gospel of in the book of Revelation. This how I think it's 7 and 9. This is how he recorded. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindred and people and tongue, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Brothers and sisters, here we are in the first century, a great multitude which no man could number. Can you imagine? And it was talked about, I think, in other parts of the scripture, like the sands by the seashore, like the stars in the sky. Brothers and sisters, here we have a picture of God's mercy right here in front of us, and we just read right past it. You know what I'm talking about? Of every kindred, that's every tongue. Just think of all the different tongues. So of every tongue, that means look across this world in all the different nations. Let's see what it says. Of every kindred, every people, every tongue, say. Brothers and sisters, he's taking the people from all of these. That's a great multitude. And I believe I believe the only way that could happen is he went all the way back to Adam, in my view. So something going on that we don't know about, brothers and sisters, in my view. because I don't know what the population of the earth was back in the first century, but certainly I don't think it was that much. But anyway, what I'm putting it is this. I believe that God is much more richer in mercy than we even can imagine. In everything, He'll have preeminence. Anyway, just wanted to put that out here this morning, try and correct the names that I didn't call right. I don't believe there's any condition placed upon a child of grace whatsoever. I believe it's unconditional. And I hope I've done a better job of putting it that way. Now, I believe that everyone that God has chosen from the foundation of the earth and placed it in that book of life, placed that name in a book of life, and nobody can get up there and put their name in it. So to me, that's wonderful, say. That's wonderful news, that I don't have to do anything because it's already written there or it's not written there. You see what I'm saying? And God will, like I said in one of my other books, God will divide. He's the only one qualified to divide the sheep from the goats, or the tares from the wheat from the tares. He's the only one qualified, so we don't have to worry about it. Let everybody grow together. Let it all, at the end, it'll be all sorted out. But I would like to go over this little verse one more time here at the end, just for everybody's, just for something people to ponder on this belief matter that is, Jesus said, "Blessed are those that believe." He said that there would be a people. I think it's how Thomas says. Thomas, he wanted to put his fingers in the hole in his hands, and he told Thomas that there would be a blessed people. Blessed people, say these people were blessed down the road here that believe in Him, yet have not seen. Say, so the blessing comes first. If you believe in Jesus, it's because you're blessed. And now the question is, the question of the ages is, does everybody believe? Do all of God's children believe? Well, I don't, like I said on one of my other videos, I don't believe that anybody is going to go into God's heaven, the world to come, and not know who Jesus is. I believe all God's children have the Spirit of Christ living within them. And but I do also believe that a lot of them are unaware of it, because one time it said over in Revelation, we said we didn't even know that. When did we do this for you, Lord? Say, God's people. It's so that when did we? He was talking about giving them a cup of water and visiting them when they were sick and stuff like that, and he said. And these people said, "Oh, what did we do?" They were unaware of any good thing that they had done. So, brothers and sisters, unlike the self-righteous people that are always pointing towards something they did or do, So, in my view, brothers and sisters, lots of God's people aren't even aware of the state of grace that they're in. So, and the lots of them have a physical preacher or that found out about Jesus in different ways. You know what I'm saying, brother and sister? Great multitudes couldn't even read, all through the dark ages. But what I'm putting out there is all God's children will have His Spirit dwelling in them. Their level of knowledge about His Son is going to differ, especially all those in the Old Testament. But I'm going to read this verse here to kind of close things off. I believe everybody that is born of God, that Jesus, our high priest, washed them in His own blood. That's what I believe. And they'll have his spirit, and they'll be in heaven if God has chosen them from the foundation of the earth, and he loves them. The whole thing's based on love. Whoever he loves is going to be with him. But anyway, I want to read this little thing here just for consumption on for people to think about. I put it in one of my other videos, but I'm going to do this one right here, and talking about the gospel. Or are there any people going to be in heaven that didn't believe the gospel? And you can make of it what you want to make of it. I'm going to fix and read it to you. And these were Paul thinking back about his Jewish brethren, that natural Israel, not spiritual Israel, but natural Israel. Some of his brethren that he had left, so, and he was a believer in Christ. So. But anyway, he was thinking back on these people. In my view, that's what this scripture's talking about. He was thinking back on it. And anyway, he says, as concerning the gospel, they are enemies for your sakes. But as touching election, they are beloved of the Father, beloved for the Father's sake. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? Here we have enemies. Paul's Jewish brethren that were his enemies still offering animal sacrifice. The temple had not yet been torn down, and they were still suffering under the law and giving Paul and them fits. They were his enemies. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? And just tell me, how is that believing? Is that believing the gospel? Belief in the gospel is a blessing from God, brother and sister. It's a special blessing. I got that in another video. Belief in Jesus Christ is a special blessing. But in this portion's view, it looks like to me that not everybody had that privilege. Say. But anyway, it's a special blessing in my view. Blessed is a man whom the Lord will not impute sin. But see, there's some people here that, in my view, that did not believe the gospel, because how is that believing the gospel? Persecuting the early church and still offering animal sacrifice. But it says, as concerning the gospel, they're your enemies. Well, how is that believing the gospel, brothers and sisters? That's just a question I'm asking you. But as touching election, they are beloved of the Father. But I love them anyway, is what he's saying, because I got their name written down up there. And then he goes on down here below, at the end here, brothers and sisters, and he says, so I have just decided, and this is in verse 32, for God has concluded, God has come to the conclusion, he's made a decision on this. For God has concluded them all in unbelief, that he might have mercy upon all. In other words, all the people that God has chosen from the foundation of the earth, he's concluded everyone, the whole human race, in unbelief. His people, whoever they are, in unbelief. And it says that he might have mercy upon all. Anybody that winds up in God's glory world, brothers and sisters, it will be because of his great love and his rich mercy. And I came the same way you came, brothers and sisters, and everybody else comes. And it comes from unconditional grace, brothers and sisters. That's what a soul down here in Alabama has on his mind this morning. I remade that other video because I kept calling Paul John. I hope I didn't in this one. I'll play it back. I might have to do this one over. But anyway, peace and love from this old boy down here in Alabama. And I hope to see you later on today.